Yo, listen, man, I'm excited right now. J. Cole just dropped his Pipe Down remix, I guess you could call it. Either that or his freestyle to Pipe Down. Yo, bodied that shit. Yo, I'm so excited to break this down. Listen, man, this is the Blake Check. You tuned in. Let's get moving. Alright. Last night, J. Cole just popped up out of nowhere and he dropped the video freestyle to Drake's song Pipe Down off CLB, right? So, first of all, I got to give a complete breakdown of this. It's so fire. The bars, the visuals, it's so much there. All right. So one of the first things that stood out to me, I gotta address this off top. Shout out to Cole. He represented in the video. He's official member of the Croc Gang. Yeah, he had his Crocs on, vibing, lounging in what's easily got to be a 5-star hotel. He's on the PJ, ride around Vegas in front of the Flamingo. Beautiful hotel. I stayed there before. Yo, it's dope, man. It's dope the way they put everything together. Um, yo, real bars. When you love this culture, I'm about to get on my funk flex shit. when you love this culture and you love rap, real bars are mad exciting. Like you hear somebody spitting something fire that you know ain't just some average run of the mill bars. It makes you go crazy because it's like, yo, this is the passion that I connected with when I first fell in love with this genre, with this art. And when you got somebody like Cole who's bringing that to the table over a song that's already, everybody heard CLB. There's a few songs off there that people really enjoy. Pipe Down is one of those. And the beat, the instrumental to it is fire. So Cole grabbed that up and he went crazy on it. Like, I mean, he was dropping jewels. He got a couple double entendres in there. For those of y'all who don't know, a double entendre is a bar that has like dual meanings, duality to it. You know what I'm saying? So in there, even the visuals, right? Even the visuals while he's rapping on the PJ, on the private jet, he got his mans next to him and they sleeping, right? So, whatever. Maybe he just cut the camera on in the middle of the flight and recorded the video. Maybe. Or maybe that's a double entendre too, to how even though he's wildly successful in private jets and he's got all these other things that these rappers be rapping about and bragging about, people still sleeping on them. But that's just me. That's just what I took away from it. You know what I'm saying? I digress. At another part, in another bar, he talked about his kids and how he's keeping them out the gaze of the public. The gaze of the public. Take it how you want to take it. It was gaze with a Gaze, maybe. Right? So that's another line that he squashed, right? Because even with all of the success, his man's on the PJ with him. He got the rollie on. People still sleeping on Cole, and he's a very private person. So he talked about how he likes to keep his kids out the gaze of the public, and things like that. So another bar that he spit, which is why I think a lot of his fans connect with him. He gives jewels. He just talked about how success is in the effort, and how if it don't work out, then he knows it's not in the cards that God dealt him. I think that's a very important jewel to drop, especially for young people, because a lot of people they focus on the end result, and it's the process a lot of times that people skip out on. So for him to have that with his listeners or whoever and drop that jewel, the success is in the effort. You know what I mean? A lot of times people gauge success by if they at the top of the tops or if they make an X amount of dollars. Like, nah, bro. If you have a passion about something and you invest yourself and you do it fully, regardless of the outcome, the success is in the effort. Before Nip Hussle died, before Nipsey died, he wasn't the most successful rapper. He wasn't no multi-platinum selling this, that, and the third, but he was on his grind and on his hustle. And when he was sadly taken away from us early, people went back and they discovered some things of his music and the jewels that he would drop in interviews, and just the authenticity of who this man was, and how he carried himself, and how he was a businessman, and how all these things that he was saying in his rhymes, we could date back and look at his life and look like the connection, like, you know what I mean? So yeah, the success is in the effort, because if he only looked at it like, yo, I'm not selling platinums and millions of albums, his family wouldn't be set the way that his family is set right now, because he kept giving it that grind and putting that effort in. You know what I mean? So I thought that was a dope jewel that he dropped as well. Along the route, he also was spitting bars about, he questions if he got something to offer since he done eluded poverty, right? And I think for somebody like Cole, who's not a gangster rapper per se, you know what I mean? Somebody who don't have a bunch of like street lyrics and street bars, that's probably got to be a struggle. I liken that to a couple of things, right? I compare that to somebody like Ludacris. Ludacris, one of the illest rappers from the South, and undeniable. If you don't think Ludacris one of the best rappers out of the South, you don't understand bars and rap, right? Like Ludacris spit with anybody, but because he didn't have that street background, a lot of times people downplayed his lyrical abilities. So I think what he was expressing there was like, yo, I'm not poor anymore. I've become uber successful. How is it that I can still continue to relate to the common fan? And I think that also brought Kendrick to mind for me, because it's like with Kendrick, he takes these breaks and these hiatuses. I think it's been like 3 years since the Damn album, and I wonder sometimes, does he have that same struggle, or is it just a matter of he's one of those artists that has to live life and find inspiration somewhere? But it's like if you was a, no disrespect to like a Pooh Shiesty type of rapper, you could talk about killing niggas 100 different ways every single day, and it don't, you know what I'm saying, that energy, that don't go nowhere. They don't run out of that. They could do that all day. So that's where he was questioning that, and that kind of brought, that kind of brought K Dot to mind. Kendrick, like, I wonder if he feels that same way, right? So also he goes on to say he's in the top three. They giving him bronze or whatever, and I don't know about that, man. I question that. You know what I mean? Like with being in the top three, top five, and you're still an active rapper, like top three active rappers. So that's going to be right off the rip, Drake, Kendrick, and Cole, right? So if we're saying within the top three, I look at that throne, the rap throne, and this is for like my WWE fans. When there used to be WWF, they would have the Hardcore Championship, right? And the Hardcore Championship wasn't the most grandest belt in the whole WWF. But what made the Hardcore Championship so ill at a point was that you had to defend that shit at any time, any place. You could be walking down the alley, somebody hit you with a chair, and they pin you, they taking the title. So I basically say that to say, um, that's what I like in being on that throne too. Like, listen, 2 weeks ago, Drake was on the top of the throne, right? Now you got Cole swooping in with this freestyle, and he done stole the throne. Where he's at, I think he's in that number one spot. You know what I mean? Because it's like, as far as I'm concerned, it's a ever changing thing. Whoever got the momentum right now, it's like when Jadakiss did the verses. You couldn't tell a Jadakiss fan that Jada wasn't the greatest rapper in the world at that point in time, because he was sitting on top of the throne. Like, that's just how I roll sometimes. You know what I mean? So getting back into the song, he said also, and on another part, I gotta do a full breakdown. There's so much bars in there. He said on another part that he's afraid of the judgment, and the thought of showing too much of my day is repugnant. I think for people living in the Instagram age and the Instagram era, for those who not into that and who don't want to be on the explore page every day, like him and Kendrick, it's a weird time, you know what I mean? Because it's like you need the publicity to promote your artistry and to promote what you're doing, but you're not one who seeks attention and validation from the public. You don't want to show your kids and your wife and your lifestyle. You're a private person, you're a reserved person. But that's not the day and age that we live in. There's so much that people want you to give, give, give. And that's not everybody's personality. So, you know, he also goes on to detail. He also goes on and says, details official, the best nigga breathing if that just failed to hit you. You couldn't tell because you fell for the bells and whistles, right? So that to me was like a little bit it was a little bit contrary to what he said earlier in the song where he just, humbly tried to give himself top three. But at the same time, as you go further into the verse, he does say that he's the best nigga breathing. It just failed to hit you. You couldn't tell because you fell for the bells and the whistles. So the bells and the whistles is these label gimmicks, these promos, these certain bloggers that they pay to promote certain artists, and you know, use your following to let everybody know this person album dropping, this person got a classic on the way, even though we ain't heard it yet. You know what I'm saying? Those type of things and those type of games. Cole seems like he don't really play those things. Like if you like it, you like it. You love it, you love it. If you don't, it's whatever. You know what I mean? So, he also says on another part of the song, "Afraid of my luminosity. So when you see me on red carpets, I'm moving awkwardly." That again speaks to like his, you know what I mean, his introvert side, where it's like we're not gonna get the overexposure from him because that's just not the personality that he is. Once again, he said success is in the effort. So it's if you believe success is in the effort, you probably not that consumed with being on the red carpets and stuff like that. And as he said, afraid of his luminosity. That's that's a powerful thing, man. There's a lot of people who know I have the potential to be great. I got the potential to do amazing things, but do I really want to put myself out there like that? Do I really want to go through these hurdles and this journey of exposing more of myself? Even me, starting out blogging, I've had to deal with that. You know what I'm saying? Having that consistency of like opening up and dealing with a lot of that. So success is in the effort, man. He told y'all right there in that same song. Um, so the way that he closed it out, though, one of my favorite bars, the way he closed it out, he says, "Supposed to be relaxing, but the passion makes that impossible." Supposed to be relaxing, this passion makes that impossible. So with that line right there, I think that's where we ended up. That's how we ended up here, right? I think that's how we ended up here because it's like he dropped his album, The Climb, back earlier this year. To me, album of the year. Album of the year. I haven't heard another album this year that surpassed and eclipsed that. From the features to the bars to the songs itself. Album of the year. Um, if y'all think another album of the year, I know we got contenders. We got, of course, Drake dropped his CLB. I don't know if people want to give him album of the year for that. We got Donda. Tyler the Creator dropped an album that was pretty well received. J. Cole's album. For the people who just love, you know what I'm saying, shake your ass music. Moneybag Yo got an album out this year. So ESTG dropped this year. I wouldn't put that in the album of the year, but there's been a few albums this year, and I think Cole's has stood the test of time. I don't know. Y'all tell me, man. Y'all tell me. I don't know. I'm going back to listen to more of this shit. As y'all can see, I did a whole. We're going past 14-minute breakdown now of this album, of the song. It's not even an album, I'm bugging. Of the song, right? Bars, jewels. It's just amazing display of lyricism and his fake humility. Took about him top three. They gave me the bronze, but then he also goes on to say that he the best nigga. But listen, this shit is fire. Sit with it, digest it, listen, man. Open your ears. This is dope shit. Shit, boy. I'm out of here, man.